Hey people, Introduced BB3, Khatrin and Purification Plant, blue team. We've got Lokyo with a Mekboy, teleporting hero, fighting in ranged combat, puts out some good damage, and has a bunch of Orky gadgets, there he goes. Alongside, iPlayThisNaked, I hope you're pressing the keys with your hands, buddy. With a Lord General, fighting in ranged combat begins with a retinue of Stormtroopers, really strong defense, and support can also add to the retinue. Here we see the Talon Desert Raiders elite scheme. Rounding off the team is Jamona, with a Plague Champion, starts off in ranged combat with a damage of a time bolt gun, can get melee weapons, some strong utility and support. Red team, more Orks. This is AfterSHOCK with an exclamation point in it. Warboss, a melee hero that walks through objects, very good offense, disruption and support from the front lines. Alongside the Maul is an Inquisitor, offensive hero with powerful control abilities. There's Hammer of the Witches, boom. Begins in melee but can get specialized ranged weapons. And rounding off the team, Gunter the Kaiser is a Warlock, a melee spellcaster that leaps into combat, some powerful disruption and support. On the east side, no, I'm lying, the west side against the Mekboy. In the mid is Imperial Guard versus Imperial Guard, who's got the best Sentinel skills. Inquisitor's been forced off, which means they can just push against them, I guess. East side is Orks versus Plague Champion. So the Plague Champion got his Plague Bolter nerfed in 295. I played some games a few nights ago now. Lost every single one, of course. But I really felt the difference in that Plague Bolter, especially against single entities where you can, stack up the damage over time. The damage over time was nerfed by 20%, which I didn't think would be that much of a big deal, but I really felt it when shooting enemy heroes. His offense is so weak, the Plague Champion, by default. I mean, I know he has more health than other ranged heroes, but not that much more. And when you consider he has 8 DPS melee, where the Commando, for example, has like 20 something melee DPS, I believe. Even the Mekboy, a teleporting little Ork, has more melee DPS than the Plague Champion. It's pretty nuts. And now they nerfed his ranged weapon. Okay, Nurgle rant over. Let's see how Jamona does with his Plague Champion. Warboss is tearing through some CSM, didn't drop a model though. Lots of heretics died. And we got some Banshees up for Gunter the Kaiser. We already have their Aspect Destructor fired out onto the shooter boys. I hear the Banshees yelling. It's because a bunch of guardsmen showed up on the mid. I think I just saw, we're seeing medical sergeant heals on these guardsmen handed out by the Lord General retinue member. Lord General himself is right here. There's the medical sergeant with the chainsword. He's really poor in combat though. Sentinel stomp. Did he actually hit anything? Not sure. The Banshees are running away though. Here comes the Mekboy with some Daka. Sluggers on retreat path. Couldn't quite get one of the Banshees there. Can mess up the Warlock maybe. Can they finish him? Bang, 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 bang. Not quite. Not the best chasers, Sluggers. They seem so slow, Sluggers. I'm sure they have standard 5.5 speed, but sometimes the animation of the unit makes them feel so slow. Inquisitor throws up the Holy Pyre, but in a place that did nothing. I think the Mekboy teleported away. It's also a power melee weapon. Got flamers up on the guardsmen. They get 2 in the squad. 3 in the squad, excuse me. And they're going to burn down some gens. Sentinel, very low. Going to try and tie up the Lord General maybe? Nope, just going a bit further there. Lord General can be such a pain in the arse to deal with early on, because you've got to kill all of his retinue to kill him, and he can tie stuff up in melee pretty effectively. Meanwhile, east side, Orks pushing against the blue team's power. Jamona with some Havocs up. We got Eternal War CSM. Warboss is very low. Can they finish him? Surely they can. Damage over time should get him. There we go. Did its job that time. They get one of the gens, and they got the node as well, at least. There was a Breath of Nurgle heal from the Plague Champion, is kicking off on the west side. Storm Boys jumping on the Shuriken Cannon. These guys have power melee weapons. Couldn't quite get the Shuriken, and then he ate a Destructor. Really well aimed Destructor, actually, from Gunter. Shooter Boys with their Knob Leader here, and big shooters on the other squad. If I can select them. If I can... Oh, I can't select the other squad for some reason. Well, there we go. Big shooters, you see them there. 412 to 500 on the VPs. Sentinel charges forward for the stomp, or at least to threaten the stomp, as we saw there. Good firing of the Holy Pyre. Really messed up those guardsmen, and the spotter shell comes in too. They got really messed up. Sentinel's getting quite low. Sentinel versus Sentinel action. Can they repair it? I think it's going to go down. Down it goes. Well played by the Maul. Set that up with the Holy Brazier, Holy Pyre, and the spotter shell coming in. Meant that those guardsmen were in a very dicey position. Couldn't push forward and repair. Double shooters now both fully upgraded. Guardian weapon team coming back in. So are the Banshees, the Warlock with no war gear. But that Destructor's pretty damn good early on. Oh, Inquisitor gets into trouble. Storm Boys finish her off with a bunch of Daka as well, of course. Destructor flies in as another really good one. Hit both the Sluggers and the Storm Boys there. Banshee's mopping them up though. Grenade does its job. Banshees can now get in amongst the Shooter Boys. Just got a bit too close there. Did Lokyo. Didn't need to move the Shooter Boys that far up, I don't think. It can be a bit tricky here because of the shot blockers. Meanwhile, east side, leveling up are the CSM. Jamona's able to push up to the power here. He's done some bashing too. Havoc staying in play because the Warboss goes down again. Uh oh. I think the Havocs are going to fall. There's a lot of Daka. 18, 17, 14 hit points, 12, 10. I think they're far enough away. Yep, far enough away. Breath of Nurgle fires and they go into melee. Now they can maybe take down this generator. It's one of those pesky Eldar generators that are hard to target. It's really annoying. You have to like target the base here. Overpowered targeting box of the Eldar generators. Ogren's on the way for iPlayThisNaked. And tier 2 for Jamona, tier 2 for all of the red players, I should say. Spotter shell comes in. It's a smoke one, lowering the range of the Lord General's units here. You don't seem to get the debuff circle from the smoke shell like you do for the Basilisk Flare, for example. And the mortar shell comes in too. They were really bunched up for that. Sluggers on a rampage. Plague Champion flees. Does not have the fetid armor or anything. We got Stormtroopers coming out in tier 2 here for the Maul. Ogren's already on the field for iPlayThisNaked. Do they have any support war gear? Not really. Aside from the Medical Sergeant, of course, who's pretty good support. Tons of Daka on the Inquisitor. She has to throw up her mandate. Gives her that speed bonus and full immunity to damage for, how long is it for? 7 seconds. Plus 3 speed though. Pretty nuts. Those Orks just running into the Holy Pyre and then they eat a Destructor. Some really good Destructors from Sir Gunter. Did the Storm Boys wipe there? No, they didn't wipe. They're still here. Warlock is doing some good work. Is that the Witchblade of Kurnus? It is. He had the grenade marker on his head. Denotes a AoE ability. Typically he went down to the Ogrins though. Should get revived from there, I think. Banshee's on the warpath now, looking for some revenge maybe. Aspect of Strength, giving them a spear on the Exarch. They're going to go for Guardsman, a much softer target in amongst the Lord General. War Shout suppresses all that stuff. Heavy turret getting shots in. That's from the global bar of the Lord General. Talon Desert Raiders, don't they have like cavalry units and stuff, I think, in the lore? That would have been crazy to see in Dawn of War 2. 325 to 481. Ogren's be running. They do have their Bonehead leader who died. Yep, that grenade hit the Bonehead leader. It was a really good grenade. Hit a squad leader and killed him. Sluggers taking the Western VP. Meanwhile, east side, still fierce fighting between the Orks and the Chaos stuff. Power Claw is in though for the Warboss. Bad news for those Havocs. Can they get the Warboss again? He's overextended several times now and has gone down. I think they've got him. They have got him. The damage of a time bolt gun still makes a big difference, as you can see. On retreating stuff especially, it's pretty damn useful. Wraithguard on the way for Sir Gunter the Kaiser. Looks like the anti-armor stormtroopers took down that turret, but because it does have vehicle armor, should have been closer to the edge, surely. Should always try to put your stuff closer to the edge than closer to the mid, because they're going to get flanked from there easier. Although I guess there's plenty of room to maybe flank this side too. War truck on the way for AfterSHOCK. Everyone's tier 2. Got stormtroopers up for both of those Imperial Guard players. Maul just lost something. Was it the Sentinel? 3-2-1 to 4-4-8. Storm Boys with their Nob leader tearing up the Banshees, and they wipe them out. Wraith Guard get a decent volley in, but they are in bad trouble against the Storm Boys. They have heavy infantry armor, so the power melee will tear them up, and they're just terrible in melee generally. Storm Boy Nob there, stunning on landing. Lord General hits level 3. Both the Imperial Guard players have had a rough start to tier 2, I think. Although the Ogrins have done great for iPlayThisNaked. Imperial Guard now on the power here. And they can finish it off, I think. Maybe the Ogrins will just get a decap there. Meanwhile, east side, Orks be bashing power. War trucks supporting the sluggers with some reinforcement if they need it. And they might need it, because here's some Havocs here. Just bundle inside. Drive around the back and chop them up. Didn't quite drive far enough there. And here's some Marco Zinch CSM from Jamona's Chaos Space Marines. A Dreadnought is up as well. There it is. Starts off with the autocannon. Meanwhile, west side, there's the Holy Pyre effect you see. Inquisitor's level 3. Now has Excruciators as well. There it is. There's the Assail for the Ogrins. It's such a good ability. Setting up a Hell Fury strike. Could use it to set up Manticores as well. And then she dies. Of course she does. Poor Inquisitor. Does some fancy work against the Ogrins and just gets smacked to death. Just their head caved in. Ogrins are down to 3 models. Slugger's still on range stance though. Gotta chop them, Slugger dudes. There we go. Grenade went in there. Did some decent work against the Shooter Boys. Ogrins get away with a single model. Here's an Autark for Sir Gunter the Kaiser. We see all the buff circles from the boss pole. He's orange. That's what the boss pole is doing. And the spiky armor is up. Inquisitor gets revived and promptly runs away. No, she's running to the west side. East is being cleaned up by Jamona here. Might get onto the power too. Now that the Warboss is in the mid. Might be going for a big old flank. Yep, War Truck going for a flank here. Dreadnought turns around. And we have Mark of Khorne Havocs with that very dangerous autocannon. Piling out though are a bunch of Orks. Sluggers on them. Almost finished them off. Might still do it. I think they're far enough away. The War Truck is going to go down to Dreadnought autocannon fire, I think. Yep, down it goes. Warboss gets in there. In this state, the Dreadnought won't have melee resistance. So it is vulnerable to that power core, and he puts user choppers on himself for that power buff, for the damage buff, sorry. There's a Noxious Cloud, might get rid of the sluggers, but I don't think the Warboss is going to be caring much about it. That's a global ability of the Plague Champion, that Noxious Cloud. The damage is doing to that Dreadnought. Needs some help. Think he can get close enough to base though. 2 or 3 more hits and it's done. There's Ard Boys now for the Warboss, trying to keep the chase going. It's just going to hit base turrets though, isn't it? And as a special attack, not very useful. Yep. Warboss must flee. Going to take a while for Jamona to repair up that Dreadnought though, which will delay him a bit. We have a Chimera here for iPlayThisNaked and Maul going for some Khatrin in tier 3. Tank Busters for AfterSHOCK to help deal with that Dreadnought. And tier 3 for Sir Gunter. Looks like Lokyo's already there with tons of requisition. They could get a Nob Squad right now. Maybe they're saving for a battle wagon. A natural VP of the red team has been decapped, as you can see. Most likely by iPlayThisNaked on the western side. Autark trying to defend against marauding Orks. Jumps back, which does a heal. And I think a movement speed bonus. She also has a passive damage resistance buff around her. Pretty damn useful, the Autark, if you can micro her well. Those stormtroopers had a bad day. Assail up on the Ogrins, having a little jiggle. Lasts a while, doesn't it? You do need to channel it though. The Inquisitor has to really concentrate apparently to use it. You can't do anything else. 3-2-1 to 2-6-6 double cap here for the blue team. Looted tank on the way for Lokyo. Some Daka for the Wraith Guard, who are going to tear apart, or shoot apart, I suppose, the War Banner. Grenade goes in. Wasn't enough. War Banner's still there. There we go. Just seemed to collapse. Ogrin's getting messed up by the Wraith Guard. I think he's ground targeting here, which is the most effective way to use them if you can deal with a little bit of extra micro. Wraith Guard need to be careful though. Storm Boys are around. Tank busters in the mid. Ogrin's being chopped up on retreat, but they got away. Chimera also got away. The Dreadnought of Jamona is still on the field as well. 3-2-1 to 2-2-4. That was a sail on some shooter boys. Level 4 Inquisitors having a big impact in these fights, I feel like. Warboss level 3. Over here on the west side now. Looking to chop up an enemy clan of Orks. A rival clan, as it often happens. We got a battery pack for the Mekboy. Looted tank is up, then the Mekboy is a repair unit, and the fact that he can teleport and repair is pretty damn useful. Khatrin are up. Right here. You can freely change between their weapons now. They have some really good foot speed and inspiration on kill. Really solid unit now. They are limited to 1 these days. Rocks from, I assume, Lokyo. I assume. Unless AfterSHOCK was just trying to kill some chaos stuff. Heretics died there. But I think the Dreadnought is going to be okay. In the mid, meanwhile, we have Sniper Rifle Lord the General. Hellfury came in. Imperial Guard versus Imperial Guard again in the mid. Inquisitor being knocked over. Down goes a Chimera though. Sneaky anti-armor Stormtroopers getting in there. Well played, the Maul. And the Wraith Guard get a good volley here. Exploded one of the Ogrins. That's double Ogrins now they got to deal with. And the Storm Boys coming in. Looted tank here as well. Blue team will retake the west side. 293 to 205. Triple cap for the red. They have both the naturals. They just lost the west side though. Warlock, you got any more war gear? No. Just that Witchblade of Kurnus. I don't think I've actually seen him use the Ethereal Slash yet. I'm sure he has used it. It's pretty damn good. Dreadnought getting repairs. Doesn't have the level yet, really? It took out a war truck basically by itself. It didn't get a level yet. Poor Dreadnought. Here comes the Seer Council for Sir Gunter. Always have to see those guys work. Stormtrooper being sneaky. Going for the looted tank. Oh, they don't have the energy to throw their melter bomb though. They were too busy being sneaky. Storm Boys jump in. Well dodged by the Stormtroopers, sorry. There we go. There's that Ethereal Slash. Just mincing some shooter boys. Storm Boys gonna just jumped in and did nothing. I think they were aiming for the Stormtroopers. We've got some Plasma Guardsmen here with Sergeant and Commissar against the exact same thing. Nope, these are Khatrin. We do have them back there though. 253 to 194. Grenade launchers up for Khatrin, which are disruptive grenades. As you can see, every shot will knock you back, which is pretty damn good and pretty damn useful for holding points and stuff. Plague Champion. Had enough of these Orks, gone for the Plague Fist. Armor of Pestilence as well, so it's very tough and effective in melee. There's the Pestilence Strike, stunning nearby enemies and creating a cloud that gives you massive amounts of range damage reduction, 80% I believe. It does affect enemies within it, so typically you'll pile into melee when you get that stun. That was the Aura of Decay knockback. Plague Champion has to flee. Did kill some sluggers, but they were reinforcing off the war truck. But it still puts pressure on your enemy's economy to reinforce like that. Great Unclean One on the way for Jamona. Baneblade on the way for the Maul. There's the Seer Council doing their thing. A bunch of power melee warlocks in the squad that leap all over you. Orks dealt with them though. Grenades miss. Ogrins flying through. Storm Boys rampaging, and the blue team will retake the west side thanks to Lokyo. East side, Power bashing from tank busters. They're also going after that dreadnought as a decent barrage there. A little bit of help from iPlayThisNaked. Heretics be repairing. The Plague Champion is also a repair unit. Very, very slow though. He'll get there eventually. And he can also use the Nurgle Worship to heal up vehicles, which is pretty awesome. Warlock jumping in. And then a very fancy special attack with her power melee Executioner Spear. Good special from the Warlock in there. Hard to pick him out because he lost the indicator, but just killed some Orks. And the Warp Throw is up. That was a Shooter Boy squad of Lokyo that went down. Hammer of the Witches. Nope, teleports away. There's the Mandate. What's she going to go after? Oh, she uses the Purgatus. And is now switching to the Inferno Pistol. Lots of war gear for this Inquisitor. 240 to 139 on the VPs. What is this? It's the Plague Champion. Can't see that webway though. War truck driving to the mid. Probably there's sluggers inside. Maybe tank busters as well. Down goes that looted tank. I think, was it the Kassakin that got it? Nope, they have grenade launchers. I guess I was the Bright Lance and the Wraith Guard. Yep, shooters and sluggers and tank busters all in there. Tier Council can now reinforce off that truck if they stay close enough. Manticore, can they get after that thing? Doesn't seem like they can. They are nervous of the Ogrins. Ogrins are heavy melee damage. Can tell from that hammer indicator. So they will tear through the war truck if they get close enough. Wraith Guard couldn't quite get the suppression on those guys there. Some Daka from Flash Kicks now. Warboss. You want to fight some Ogrins? And you might just use his stomp and then back away. There's the stomp. It's a big old stomp. No, it's not. That was his regular stomp. He's got spiky armor, not cyborg implants. I feel like I don't see cyborg implants that much these days. I guess spiky armor is a melee deterrent rather than a melee counter, but if you want to put some pain on, it's pretty damn good. And his regular stomp is a melee counter since it disrupts them. Great Unclean One has pushed all the way up the map for Jamona. Passively damages nearby enemies. Has some powerful abilities as well. Pretty damn effective in melee, although the Mandate up for the Inquisitor there. So she's not taking any damage. There we go. Now it's off. Very far forward though. Jamona might have got it into trouble. There's a nuke, a Nurgly nuke. Basically put it on himself, the Plague Champion. Didn't really hit that much stuff, but did force a big old retreat. It is taking a lot to deal with this Plague Champion when he's got the Plague Fist and his Armor of Pestilence. Stormboy's jumping in. Gonna go after that Bright Lance. The Bane Blade could be in trouble. It can be relatively weak against this heavy melee, and the Ogrins are going after it. Hell Fury dropping in, trying to get those Ogrins to back off. It is getting repairs. I don't think any of the guns can target anything that's that close, not even the heavy bolters. Manticore strike. Manticores do a lot of damage to vehicles, so they can be... Whoa. Purgatus just wiped out all of those Ogrins. That was awesome. Level 7 Inquisitor here. As I was saying, Manticore can be very effective against these really big fat vehicles because it does a lot of damage, and obviously they're quite big. Mekboy's down. With a Knob squad for AfterSHOCK. They must be inside the truck. Here they come. Encounter initiate against those Stormboys maybe. They're looking for something to jump. Here comes the Great Unclean One. Does heavy melee damage as you may expect. So will do a lot to that Bane Blade. This is a bit of a brawl. Knob squad being knocked over. There's a creeping barrage in there, I think. Yeah, from iPlayThisNaked. The Great Unclean One taking tons of damage, and Judgment is up on it from the Inferno Pistol. It's going to go down, isn't it? Poor Great Unclean One. It will explode on death, doing tons of damage to enemies and healing allies. So typically everything just runs away. Warboss might get hit if he's not careful. Yep, he got hit. 207 to 116. Nob Squad going after the Dreadnought and in turn being chased by Heretics, which do the job by doom blasting and suppressing them. And now they run away. They champion getting shots in now. Well, hits in, I guess. Can he kill one? They have dropped a model. I think the Dreadnought's going to be okay. Some Markov Zinc CSM can now do some damage. Level 4 Markov Zinc CSM as well. They will do a lot of damage to Nob Squad. They will do a lot of damage. There's the Aura of Decay. Dealt with. Can he get a model though? Another one. Nope. They get away. West side is red. Warlock jumping in. What's he got going on now? Level 5 with Providence and the Warp Throw. This makes him insane. It's like the Warlock starts off as a superhero that hasn't discovered his powers yet, and once he gets this build going, just turns into an absolute nutbag. Look at this. Crazy. Now run away and probably die. Yep. Just after I said how awesome you are. Just die. Was that a Nob Squad? Yeah, that was a Nob Squad to be fair. Grenade. Well played on those Storm Boys. Commandos trying to grab that VP. 138 to 116. Baneblade pushing up a bit, but being careful not to overextend. Storm Boys can't stick around. There's a Nob Squad though. Avatar of Cain is up for Sir Gunter. Can they get that Warlock back up though? Double Manticores for iPlayThisNaked. Avatar passively buffs nearby allied infantry. Very effective in combat as you may expect. 138 to 101. War Truck, which has done so much. Oh, this is a new War Truck. They've done a lot of work for AfterSHOCK, the War Trucks. I think it's had like 3 of them. What was that? Was that the Aura of Decay? He seemed to knock back everything. Oh, Eldritch. Sir Gunter, I think, aiming for the Dreadnought. He stunned it, and the Nob Squad should be able to finish this guy off. Uh-oh. There's a foul snare from the second Great Unclean One. It pulls in one model, but as you saw there, it messed up the others. Stunned them and stuff. Can the Havoc set up in time to save this thing? They just popped their Frenzy, so they would have got through the suppression, but a really good use of the creeping barrage from iPlayThisNaked saved that Dreadnought. That was really well played. Really good support play to help out your ally there. Jamona appreciates it, as you can see. 122 to 94. Baneblade just driving up on this VP here. Showing rear armor now. Lots of Daka for the Avatar. But he can shrug off piercing damage relatively well with its super heavy infantry armor. Can't shrug off power melee and heavy melee though. Storm Boys and Nobs in there. Taking massive amounts of damage. Must have already used the Wrath of Cain. Just going to go down. 120 red for taking down an Avatar. 116 to 94. Another War Truck on the way for AfterSHOCK. I mean, they're pretty cheap. 40 power. Get them rolling. Mekboy's got his Daka big shooter. And that battery pack, of course, which I'm sure have done a lot of great support stuff. Warp Throw doesn't work on retreating units. 112 to 94. Another Avatar on the way for Sir Gunter the Kaiser. Non-stop action on this game. There's a constant engagement, basically. Down goes the Baneblade. They got it. That Markov Zinc Dreadnought has done some really good work for Jamona, but is it going to survive here? Oh, rocket run. Maybe it will. iPlayThisNaked, I assume, with a rocket run there. Was it? We have so much red. Wow. Did they really? They couldn't have been them. They must have got like 200 red back immediately. But why would the Maul do one? I don't know. If it was the Maul, it was a bad nuke because it messed up the Nob Squad. 82 to 94. Don't understand nothing, says Jamona. It's a double negative, buddy. I know English isn't your first language, but... Here comes a Orks. Bad news for those guys, and a nuke thrown in. I'm not sure why the nuke is there. Maybe they really wanted that bunker gone. 76 to 93. I don't know why the Imperial Abyss is there. A little bit late. 2-1 Cat. Where's the brilliant clean one? There he is. Thank you. Oh, that was the Plague Champion being revived, I believe. Can they get onto the natural of the red team? There's some Orks there to guard it. Blue team have the west. Warlock is pissed. Ethereal Slash almost killed the... Oh, did kill the mech. But does the Warlock get away? No, the Warlock does not get away. Lots of Daka for the Khatrin. Level 4 Khatrin. Look how quick they are on their feet. There's those grenades. Here comes the Avatar again. Wailing Doom. Pretty good hit. Grand King one hanging out on the west side. Needs some worship to heal up faster. We do have a heavy turret. I guess it's been put here so we can cover the mid and the west, eh? What is this? Tank busters bashing power. Good way to use them. Good way to use them. Double Manticores are backing off. Stormtroopers are chasing them. There's the melter. And it's enough. Well played, fellas. Those were from the Maul. And we do have another Baneblade up. Because everything is in this game. 76 to 45. It's a creeping barrage, I think. Yep, from iPlayThisNaked. 1-1 Cat. Gets the Eldar off the VP. Ogren's going after the Baneblade. Are these guardsmen? Those are Khatrin. Guardsmen are here. They're not repairing though. There we go. Now they're repairing. Here comes the Nob squad of AfterSHOCK to help out. Go after those Ogres. Is that friendly knockback? Oh, do these knock back allies as well? I guess maybe they do. Nob using their frenzy, giving them suppression immunity and 75% damage reduction. Doesn't last very long though, it's already worn off. Red team trying to hold this west side. Wraithguard getting torn up by the Nob squad, but they in turn are getting bashed by another Nob squad. Wailing Doom, some friendly fire. Lots of Daka. Great and King One limps away, being chased by the Inquisitor and her Inferno pistol. Level 10 Inquisitor there. Las Cannon's getting shots in on the Baneblade now. Great and King One turns to engage. Needs to be careful. Inquisitor lives. Rocket run from the Maul. I think it killed the Havocs, didn't it? Did it? I think it did. There's only those Havocs now. And they are defending the power, which is not even built up on the east side. Another heavy turret. Starts off as like an anti-large target variant, but you can get the Executioner turret on top of there. Commandos now for Lokyo. 44 to 45, evened up on the VPs. Baneblade has had to back off here. Brilliant King One, sorry, the Plague Champion doing tons of work, level 10. Brilliant King One has moved back to base for the heals. Stormboy's jumping out of trouble. Ogren's trying to cap the west side here, but that's Wraithguard and that's Nob squad, and they're not going to be able to do it. Baneblade taking the opportunity to push alongside those repairs. The Dreadnought might finally fall here. 25 hit points in this guy, needs to keep moving. Nope, Baneblade got it. That did a lot of work though, that Dreadnought. Double cap for red. Have they broken through? Have they done enough? I think they might have. There's a Manticore strike. Gets rid of the repairing units. GG indeed. Looks like the red team have it here. Just broke through at the end at the right time. Blue team didn't have enough time to recover. They might have been able to though, because Lokyo still had flash kits and Nobs and commandos on this west side. They were decapping. Although these guys were on the natural, and KD and Kasukin do cap faster, I believe, so it might have been over anyway with the 2-1. But hell of a game. Massive amounts of action. We're having level 7 Mech, level 10 Lord General, level 10 Plague Champion, level 10 Warboss, level 10 Inquisitor, and the Warlock level 8. Hell of a game. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.